Hey friends, you're watching BrainStorm Acres. I'm Henry. Irene's on the other side of the studio. She's working on some waxes, and I'm here to see if I can finish up modifying her broken wax pot so we can use it for making waxes. We spent the last 3 days moving concrete block that a neighbor who is moving out of state has given us. The price was free, so we decided it's a good idea to go ahead and spend the time to pick those block up. I did a couple of things over the past few days. One was I decided to bring my power driver down so that I can drive these screws in using something that goes a little bit faster than turning it with the screwdriver. And that works pretty well. And the other thing was that I picked up a set of new drill bits, so that I know I have the right size. There's one done. 2 more, and then I can mark and drill the other side. Then I get to take it off and put the heat controller, temperature controller, back in. I'll turn this around so I have easy access to the other side and see if I can mark and drill a few holes to mount the screws. Now I'll center punch a couple of marks so it's easier to drill. Make sure I have everything lined up right. I think I'll use some more of that tape to hold this edge down. Boy, this tape is really difficult to unwind when it gets really cold. It's been cold down here. Been down around 10 degrees, 13 degrees for the past several days, so things get cold. Irene started up the wax pot this morning hours ago so that she'd have a shot at making some waxes. It just takes a long time for that amount of wax to warm up. You have to be careful when you're cutting towards yourself like this. So if you slip, you can do some real damage. This is a sharp knife. It's a carbon steel blade. And I can tell you, it will cut. I'll hold it down. I'll remark these holes, and I'll drill one. I'll put a screw in. Might as well. It'll help hold things in place. All the holes are drilled. All the holes are tapped with screws. I'm just taking the last screw out now so I can install the heat controller. And this is the thermocouple that has to go inside the wax injector. Has to go right alongside the heat mat that heats up the wax pot. So that goes in through this hole, and it will go up alongside the wax pot. This is tricky to fish around because it has to avoid all the wiring that's already inside here. And still go alongside the wax pot. And I just need to make sure that I don't break this wire, because this wire is what conducts the heat down to the controller. This wax pot, this wax injector is a little awkward. And that temperature probe is pushed in there far enough, but I'm going to have to put some heat resistant tape on it to hold it up against the wax pot itself, because it doesn't really want to stay where it is. I'll just coil this wire around here, just like it came from the factory. It's just to use up some of the extra space. I have to get 3 things lined up here, which is a little tricky but not too bad. 3 different pieces trying to go 3 different directions all at the same time. Might have had it that time. Looks like I did. See if I can screw these in. Oh, and that's a screw I don't want to lose, because it's the only one its size that I have. And since this machine was made in Taiwan, I'm not sure exactly what size screws they're using. Could be a little tricky to get a replacement. Now, Taiwan's not exactly China. They have more standardization of sizes than my experience in China has been. There's all kinds of interesting Chinese standards. And I got the second screw in. Let's tighten these down so it doesn't go anywhere. I want to tighten them down, but I want to be careful not to strip those screws out, because there's threads in this temperature controller, and if those strip out, then I have a whole nother set of problems. So that's good. Now let's see if I can figure out how to fish the electrical wires through. Hopefully I can get it through without having to lengthen the leads. I'm not sure I can, but I'm going to give it a shot. Two leads to come out. Well, I'm going to have to cut a couple of tie wraps, because there's not enough wire free past those tie wraps, so I just need to cut those out. I'm going to go get a cutting implement and I'll be back. Well, I have enough screws in to hold the bracket in place. It's pretty sturdy. I connected the 2 wires that needed to connect to the thermal controller. I'm going to double check to make sure I have no shorts that shouldn't be there. First, I'm going to check to make sure that there is ground connected. Check my meter to make sure it's working correctly. It is. And we have ground. which is what I wanted to see. Let's see if we have any other connections going to ground. Nope. Nope. Alright, so I should be ready to plug this in. There shouldn't be any issues with any kinds of shorts. I just checked that. So I'm going to go ahead and put the dial back on here. That might be the hardest part. There we go. Well, let's see what happens. Well, I didn't blow a fuse, which is good. The light is on, saying that it's trying to heat. That's about the way it goes. I need to put the base back on. Later on, when it's warmer out, not this month probably, I'll be painting this bracket so it looks nicer. I'll be putting 2 more screws in. I'm going to leave this piece of tape here right now because that gives me a way of controlling the bracket when I take the screws out. And I just don't want to take it off and then put it back on. Time to put the base back on, and we'll see how it works. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications because we've got a lot of stuff going on. Irene's still over there working on waxes. Rufus is down here sleeping in his bed. And I'm just happy that I have this job done. Well, mostly done. I just have to screw on the base. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Hey, don't forget to brainstorm. I know Irene's over there doing it. Well, I have Irene's manual wax injector repaired. There's a heater in it. It's working. The bracket's working. All of the connections are secure. And now I'm back out in the 1985 Chevy C10 truck. The horn cover has been taken off. A bunch of pieces have come out, and now it's time to get the nut off so I can pull the steering wheel off.